Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Cab Crew Wednesday on this final Wednesday of April of 2026. And it was 5 Wednesdays in this month already. So, hope everybody's doing well. The weather's been a little iffy here in New Jersey. Sun was out for a while today, but it was cloudy most of the day. So, I'll say hello to everybody in the chat so far. We got Todd Armstrong was here. He was the first one in. Welcome, Todd. How you doing? Good to see you here. Then we have John from Schuylkill River Valley. How you doing, John? Bet you're glad that tax season's over. Now you have some free time on your hands. That's good. Then Truck Driver showed up. Welcome, Chuck. How you doing today? Glad to see you in here. And then Grandpa Rails showed up. Hey, JD, how you doing? Back from your trip? I see. That's good to see you. Yeah, I'm sure you are. John, that's good. So, yeah, it's been a fun, busy week so far here. And got some things to do and getting things done. The weekend was all rainy, so I couldn't cut the grass. That still needs to be done, but I think this Sunday it's going to be sunny out, so I'll probably do it on this Sunday. Get the yard work done. Always the first one of the year is a lot of work. I had these 1 inch to 1.5 inch trees in between the fences, and I started cutting them down. I got a big pile of it, and I threw it out in the street. They always come around and clean up things every so often. So I got a whole bunch more to do yet. So it'd be nice to get outside and do some work out in the yard. Once I get the grass cut, then it'll be normal cutting. I usually cut it once a week, but this spring has been up and down with cold weather and rainy and everything like that. So you can't get out there and do that work in the rain. So what can you do? So I finished. I think I mentioned this last week. I finished all the signals that I 3D printed. The Helix was the last thing I worked on, and was telling you that all the aspects on the signals were working and everything like that. And I was working on some other things, and I started noticing some weird things happening. And what that was some of the signals weren't even coming on. That's one problem. Other signals, the aspect, whatever color it was, green, red, or yellow, was flashing off and on, off and on, off and on. There you go, JD. Yep, always good thing to start that now. So they were flashing, and then I had some signals that were alternating colors. They would go red, yellow, green, green, yellow, red. It's going, and there's no activity on that particular block or turnout or whatever. So I would go and hit the button on the light it, and some of them would reset, some of them wouldn't. And I started taking them down. Well, I didn't start taking them down. My automation panel, which has 8 buttons and LEDs on there. And when I push the button, it goes from red to green, telling me that the train is running. And all that is an NCE light it that switches the aspect from red to green. And they all went off. So I pulled one off and reset it, and it worked. I pulled another one off and reset it, and it worked. I pulled another one off, and this one started acting up funny. It would reset, and then when I turn it off and on, hey Mike, how you doing? Welcome. When I would turn it off and on, it wouldn't retain the aspect color. So I said, okay. So then I spoke to NCE. Well, actually, after all these weird occurrences going on, I did some research. And I have 3 DCC bus lines that are strictly for accessories. That's all they're for: accessory decoders, turnout motors that are connected to DCC bus line for power the frog. And I'll explain that in a minute. So I did some research, and I found out that a lot of people are having a lot of issues with the Tam Valley DCC booster. Now, that's a 5 amp booster. And I was only getting 8 volts of DCC power. And on the system, you get 14 volts to run the trains. Well, that 8 volts of power was not enough to run the turnout motors. So I had to switch the turnout motors to be on the DCC power bus line, which I really didn't want to do. And that's what I did back then to get them to work. So I said, I got to figure out something else. And I couldn't call NCE on Monday because from my cell phone, I can't call their number. I called a number and it says the number's not available. Call back later. Blah blah blah. It's not. They're not even like the switchboard is not even answering the phone. So my phone will go. It doesn't even go through to that number. And they have 2 numbers. One's for sales, if you want to buy something, and the other one's for support. Well, I can call the sales number, which is the exact same area code, the exact same exchange number, 3-digit number after the area code, and number, and the 4-digit number, and the 4-digit number is off by 1 digit between the 2 numbers, right? I can call the sales number, but I can't call the tech number. I called up Verizon and spoke to support and said, So they're looking into the problem. They haven't gotten back to me yet. I don't know what's going on. It's been a couple months since I called and complained about it. And so Barbara was here today, and her phone can call that number on her phone. So we called and talked to the guy, and I was talking to him, and I told him that I was having these problems with the lights, and he said, "Well, just send them back to us, and we'll check them out for you." I said, "That's fine," but I told him that I ordered an NCE 5 amp booster to add on to the other boosters that I have on my system, so that'll run the accessory bus lines, and then I can put back on the turnouts onto the accessory bus lines where they belong. They don't belong on the main line, because if the short out is on the turnout. Hey Chris, welcome. How you doing tonight? If the short out's on the turnout, it doesn't need to shut down the entire main line. Just that block that the turnout's in. Excuse me. So what I did was I searched for an NCE booster, and the model number is a PB105. And eBay had them. They wanted like $250 for the booster. And I almost clicked buy, but then I remembered that Tony's train exchange in New Hampshire, I think they are, or Vermont, or someplace up that way. Tony's Train Exchange, they had them, and that was only $160. So it was a lot less. Thanks, JD. Keep on top of that for me. Everybody's hitting the like button. That's awesome. So I ordered it from them. The only thing I don't like about Tony's is they take like a few days before they ship it out. And I ordered it on Monday, and I checked today, and it's still in fulfillment stage. So whenever they ship it out, then it'll be here in a couple of days. Fortunately, it's on the East Coast, and it's only a couple states away, so it shouldn't take long to get here. Once I get it, then I can finish the project of the signals and everything like that. But it was really weird how the Tam Valley booster wasn't producing the right amount of voltage. And it worked for a while, and then all of a sudden it just started happening again. So I don't know what was going on, how it was working before and how it's not working now. Maybe it's going bad. It was using about 4 amps of power. That's what the NCE meter was reading for those 3 bus lines. About 4 amps of power was being drawn. And I think, and then sometimes the voltage would go down to 0. And usually it hangs out at like 7 or 8 volts, and that's not enough. Now, Tam Valley offers a couple of different power supplies, and maybe I got the smaller version of the power supply. I don't remember. That was a long time ago when I bought that. That was a few years back, and the power supply could be the problem, why I was only getting 8 volts. I don't know. I went on their website. They don't have any way to call them. You have to email them. And sometimes email is a pain in the neck, because sometimes people don't get back to the emails because you're not the only one emailing them. So it takes a while before you get a response and that like that. So I said, that's just the way it goes. And once I get that booster, then I can add that to the system, switch it over, the wires from the Tam Valley over to the booster, and away it'll go. Then I won't have any more lighted problems. So we'll see how that goes. Once in a while, one lighted could go bad, but these are like I have one whole section where none of the signals are on, so and some of the new signals I put in, they were all working, some of them aren't now, and I don't know why, and it's just probably just not enough power to run them all. So, and this reminds me of when I first got my system and I was first expanding. I only had one booster, the NCE system itself, and everything was working. And I started adding more and more and more. And then I started running into this problem where the signals weren't working and they weren't lighting up or anything. Then I found out I didn't have enough power to handle all the bus lines that I have and stuff like that. So I think this is the same situation, and the NCE booster will replace the Tam Valley booster, and then that should clear up my problems. So that's what we're hoping, and hopefully it gets here. I'm hoping for it to be here early next week so I can get that back on. It's we I unplugged the Tam Valley booster wire from the meter, which shuts down 3 bus lines. And it looks weird on the layout when the trains are on and those signals are on. This looks strange. So I said, nah, I can live with them not on as long as I know I'm going to have it fixed eventually. So, so that's what going on with the signals, and that's what happened on the Helix when I was changing out the signals on there. They were all working. Then I turned on the system again, and then some of them weren't, and I fixed them, and now I'm seeing that randomly. See, it's random. It's not all the signals. It's not just 1 or 2 signals. It's just random signals throughout the system that are going off, that are flashing, that are cycling through, all things that shouldn't be doing except for be sitting there waiting for the next aspect to be changed. That's all. So that's the fun thing about electronics, trying to troubleshoot problems and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens when the booster gets here, and we'll go from there. So I told you about an engine that I had that was sorting out last week, and I had ordered a new engine from. I got it on eBay, and it came in and it said that it was DCC ready equipped. Okay. So I got the engine in. It came in pretty quick, a couple days, which was nice. Guy shipped it out the next day after I ordered it, and it made its way here early, which was nice. And then I said, okay, I got to look at this. I opened it up, and I'll make myself bigger. Okay. This is the shell It's a Rio Grande that's upside down. And then here's the board that came inside the engine. And it had a dummy pinned into, split into this socket here, this white socket. It has holes in it, right? And this is supposed to be a DCC ready quick connect. Okay. Well, I don't know of any decoders, 9-pin decoders, which you would need to go in here because that's only 9 holes there. I don't even know if there is any 9-pin decoders anymore. And all the new decoders that are 21 pins have the same kind of connector. They have the holes on. There's 21 holes in that board. So this is the decoder that came out of the engine that was shorting out. This engine was going to replace that engine. So what did I do? I ordered from the Decoder Buddy buddy boards. The Decoder Buddy board, version 1. These are version 1 boards. And this is a 1 watt. So it'll handle up to 1 watt output, which works good with Soundtrax decoders. That's right, Mike. It is an 8-pin. It's let me see here. Yeah, an 8-pin connector on an MB. It's not I don't think it's an 8-pin. I think it's 9 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 holes in there, Mike. So it's a 9-pin. So today, this is the new engine's chassis and motor. It's an Atheron's SD40T-2, I believe. So I soldered the Decoder Buddy on, two wires for the trucks on the one side, 2 wires for trucks on the other side, 2 motor wires. I had to solder a wire onto the top of the motor. There was a wire on the bottom of the motor. Oh, yeah? Yeah, but see, I want Soundtrax, Chris. I don't use, my shop is all Soundtrax decoders. And for a big engine like this, I'm not going to put in a 9-pin. With an 8 and 9-pin, you don't have as many functions as you do with a 21-pin. So I put a Decoder Buddy in. And then what I did was I took this Soundtrax 21-pin decoder and I plugged it into the board. And I'm not going to plug it in now, but it goes in upside down. That's upside right. It goes in like this way. It goes upside down. That's how you put them on. If I turn it over, it might fall off. But that's that. Hey, Dwight, welcome. That's okay. You can be on the phone. That's fine. Yeah, that's right, Mike. It's a good choice. So I put that on. I put it on the workbench and turned on the track power. I put this on the track and the engine started moving. Now, in my power cab, I didn't have an engine number in it because the engine number in this decoder is 41 because that's the consist that it was. So its engine number is 41. I didn't have 41 coded in my power cab. It was number 3. So the engine just started moving. And I'm going, how's that thing moving? So, and it was acting up funny when it was shorting out in that other engine. So I said, I'll only talk to Soundtracks. I called them up, spoke to them for a little bit about this. And he said that there's a PSOF or something inside the chips here, and it's a on and off switch that tells it powers on or powers off, and it might be stuck in the on position, and that's why when I put it on the track, it starts running. It runs nice and smooth. That's fine, but I can't control it. I even put in 41. Hey, Bob, welcome. How you doing tonight? So I said, he said, put it on the test track. So, because that has different voltages and it doesn't work the same way as being on the main line. So I put it on a test track. The engine just took like 1 revolution. It didn't move. So I got on my power cab. I went to program track. I went to CVs. I went to CV number 8 because I was going to do a factory reset on the decoder. I hit 8 and it said unable to read the CVs. So then George said, you're going to have to send that back in to repair it. So I said, okay, I'll send this back in. Well, I'll have this repaired, and then I can put that in the engine that has the short circuits in it. And that'll get that engine back up and running. So I bought 2 decoder buddies. I'm going to put a decoder buddy in that engine because I believe that board in that engine that was shorting out has a short in it somehow. So that's what I plan to do. So I have a second decoder buddy. I'm going to put that in. And then today I started looking for another one of these and I found some on eBay, but there's so many different models of the 21 pin decoder. There's ones for GE diesel. There's one for electric motors. There's one for Baldwin diesels. There's one for steam engines, blah, 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 blah. So I usually get my stuff from this guy in New Jersey. He's on eBay and he has his own website. And I have a discount code with him. And I went on his site and I found a decoder. And I thought it was the diesel one. And I ordered it. And then when I got the email confirmation, I saw in it, it said the blah, blah, blah decoder. And it was for steam. And I said, that's not going to work in my diesel engines. Okay. I don't want steam sounds coming out of a diesel engine. That's not going to sound right. So I contacted them. They canceled my order. Then I found one that I wanted in another site, and that guy's in New York State. I've dealt with him in the past. I'm not sure, Bob. I don't know. I don't think they have diesel and steam sounds mixed together where you can select the diesel sound on the decoder for your engine. I don't think they do. It's just they just have steam engines sounds on the steam. That's why it's a steam decoder. It even says theme in the description of the decoder. So anyway, so that'll be shipped out and sent to me. So I had to order that. And what I do is I just put a piece of plaque card underneath the decoder buddy, and then I put Teflon tape and hold that, and then it goes around the decoder buddy and keeps it in place and stuff like that. I have all the lights to move over to the decoder buddy. And when I was on the Decoder Buddy's website, ESU, Bob, allows you to download songs into their decoders if you buy their expensive ESU contraption that connects to your computer. You need to have a whole bunch of other stuff. Then you can download the song, the music or the sounds, and put that. That's I like the sounds that come with my decoders, and I just use those sounds. I'm not really too much on that. Oh, really, Chris? Yeah. Well, like I say, I'm soundtracks here, Chris, and that's all I use. I have 1, 2, 3 engines that have Digitrax decoders in them. They're really small switchers, and I'll eventually switch them over, because at the time I did that, Soundtracks didn't have a small decoder, so now they do. But if those motors are drawing, I have to check the motors in those. If they're still drawing more than an amp, then I'm not going to switch them over. Just leave them in the Digitrax. And 2 of them are working, and 1 isn't right now. So anyway, when I went on to the Decoder Buddy site, I found this neat little tool. This guy here. It's the Decoder Buddy light test board. And what it does is this thing fits right on the board. See, on the Decoder Buddy board, you have the little daughter board on there. And that's where you solder all your little lights to. So what you do is, when you get your decoder in, you can hook up this in place of that board. You plug that in to the same spot, and then you can go to your your controller and start turning on the lights, like the headlights, the rear lights, ditch lights, class lights, whatever kind of lights you have on the engine. And then you would know which one to solder the wire to. And this has all the light functions on it. So I'm going to test it out. I'll do a video of it once I get it set up, and then we'll see how it works. And then you can, and that's not bad, JD. Yeah, that's the problem, Bob. Some people don't like sounds. You can tell by my automation, I like sound. And I like when the trains are running, you can hear them. I like the fact that when they're going up an incline, they make a sound like they're working harder, stuff like that. That's what you have. So I then So I ordered this. This was like $16 or something like that. It wasn't that expensive. Same price as almost as much as the Decoder Buddy. So it wasn't that expensive. Chicken, maybe not so much. LOL. Yeah, right, Mike. Yeah. Well, that's the sounds in there, um, and uh, with the chickens, and the other chickens are all pecking away, eating food. So that's what you're hearing. All the chickens tucking away. They want their food and stuff. So, um, but that's what was going on with this engine. So now I have to wait for that decoder to come, and then I'll plug that in. So from New York, that'll be a couple of days. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, 9 for 9 now. That's cool. So we I gotta remove my comment there. Your comment there. Let's see. Looks like it. Where was that comment? There we go. There we go. Anyway, so now what I'm doing now is I've been 3D printing my cars. I finally got in some water-based clear resin that came in, and this is the first one that I did. It's a Corvette. What we did today, we went to Hobby Lobby. If I can show you that in the, let me see, get it over there. We went into Hobby Lobby. Wheels are black. On the back, I got I have some rear lights. They're little red. They're on some piece of plastic in a box somewhere. I got to find them. So I'll put them on the back to highlight the back brake lights. And so that's what I'm making. And we bought metallic paint, and I like the metallic paint. Came out a lot better than just the plain old acrylic paints. So they had a whole section of metallic paints. And I just picked out a few different colors, and so they'll look a lot better when they're all done. So we'll have to see. So that's what that's going. So I only can print. I'm printing this one at a time. I tried to print multiples, and some reason it didn't come out right. So I'm just printing one at a time. So it's going to take me a while to get all of them done. Uh, thanks, John. So this is what I put on top of the motor. This is that white plaque stuff. Thanks, Bob. And then I just slide it underneath, and then it falls off because it's not taped or glued in place like that. The paper's on there, so that's what I used to protect the decoder from the motor. Yeah, so yeah, Barbara painted this today. Her eyes are still bothering her. Can't keep it on one finger. Give you a side view. And the tires are, nice rubbery looking. So, and they'll go. Well, these are going in my car carrier, Bob. I have 4 car carriers, open car carriers. So there'll be a whole car of Corvettes. I got a Dodge Challenger. I got a Thunderbird, a Firebird. and I got a Mazda Turbo car, and they'll be the 4 cars that'll be on those car carriers. So I got to find a place on the layout somewhere where I can unload the cars, because I have a car dealership. That's unfortunately what layout's that? Oh, it's on the first level, my car dealership. So I do have car carrier trucks, so they can pick up the cars and bring them in to the car dealership and stuff like that. So that's what the plans are. Anyway, I got to find an unloading place and set that up so when the train comes there, they can unload the cars, and probably some siding or something. Maybe I can push them into stuff like that. So we'll see. So that's the new the decoder buddy tool, the neat little thing there. My closed auto racks. Yeah, right. The closed, I have one of those. I won that on Sparky's Christmas show one year. It's a closed auto rack car, but it has no levels in it. It's supposed to be a 3-level auto rack car, but there's nothing in it. It was empty inside. So I wasn't going to throw cars in there. A, you're not going to see them. And B, there's nothing there to put them in. I mean, even the first level is not even drivable by a vehicle. So I don't know if the box that he got, it didn't come with it, or I don't know the situation where it came from. So, but it runs around up there. So, because I wasn't sure if I was going to buy more auto rack cars closed or get open ones, but I found a good deal on open ones. I got 4 of them, and I said that was good. So that's why and that's the reason why I got the open ones, because then the cars, you'll be able to see them as the train goes around. So that's the plan anyway. So so the Helix behind me yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday I finally finished all the track gluing. So all the track on the Helix is now glued in place, and no more now, no nails. I have a prescription bottle. It's half full with the nails that I pulled out of the tracks, going up that many levels. So there's a lot of nails in there. Like you say, I snipped them off, but they were still sticking out, and that was just enough to cut my knuckles. So no more knuckle cutting. Another problem with the nails being, all you had to do was push the nail in, because it would go right through the gator board, right? Sometimes they would pop out, and they would pop up, and then they'd be sticking up above the rail, and then an engine would come by and it would stop and hit that nail, and it wouldn't go nowhere. And then I had to push it back in. And some of them were popping up just a little bit, and then they would eventually work their way up all the way. And then it was just a pain in the neck having the nails in the track. And I always wanted to glue it. What color is the vet? This is some kind of blue. I don't know what the color says on the bottle. Just prints this print auto silhouette on acetate and paste them to the inside of the auto rack car. You can't see inside them, Bob. You can't see inside them. That silver siding almost, thanks, Dwight. Um, the bottle is in my office in the racks. I had to print 3 new paint bottle racks today to hold the new bottles of paint that I got. I got like 8 different metallic paints, so they're all in the new racks and everything like that. Yeah, so I don't know, Bob. I don't think you can see through those auto racks because those silver sidings, there's not much of a gap where you can see through them to see what's in there. So unless you take them off, then that takes away from the model. Yeah, that's for the closed racks, which often are slightly see-through. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many different auto car carriers there are. I know there's open, and the auto racks are closed. The only 2 that I know of. So some of my auto racks have solid plastic panels, aka the cheap ones. LOL. Yeah, probably. I'll have to look closer at mine because I was going to try and 3D print rails so that the cars can go on them and put in, 3 levels in that auto carrier car. But then I said, why should I waste my time? Because you can't see them. You won't be able to see them. And even if you did be able to see them, you wouldn't see them on camera, probably. And it's just like putting furniture inside a building. You're not going to see it. Right? It would look nice, but you're not going to see it unless somebody comes to the layout and you can take the roof off and they can look in there to see the furniture. Most of mine are slightly see-through, especially when viewed directly from the side at 90 degrees. I don't know. The closed car carriers you're talking about, Bob? Well, I don't know. I don't know if it depends on who makes the models, what they're using or not. I really don't know. So I just got the open ones because I know I wanted to show off the cars. And it's just like box cars. Some guys like to load up the box cars with boxes and stuff, but you can't see them because the doors are closed. What's the purpose? Okay. What I put inside the cars are weights to weigh down the cars. That's what I do. I slide the door open if I can, and I slide in weights to weight down the cars. That's how I do the box cars. Or the roof pops off or the bottom comes off some way. So I have to look closer at my closed auto carrier car and see what that looks like. But when I first looked at it, I said, that's not going to work. And what I'll do is I'll shine light through it and see if I can see light coming through the other side. And that'll tell you if you can see through it or not. Yeah. Well, Mine are empty, and they go around with no problem, no extra weight added to them. I would like to add a little weight to it because you can always jump something. Uh, they're not that heavy, but still, I would like to weight it down a little bit if they're empty. So with all, I can put 15 cars on each one. So that'll add enough weight because these are all resin printed and they're all solid. Okay. No holes inside there. That's all solid. And this is clear resin, so we don't have to do nothing for the windows. You can almost see inside, but there's no steering wheel or no nothing like that. You can't. There's nothing. There's no detail inside. No seats or anything. So I do have a Firebird. Have you modeled any tower lights in your yards? Yes. I have 1, 2, 3 of them up there. They're 3D printed. Let me see if I can show you them. Let's go back to there. Let's go to this one. There you go. Right where I'm pointing, Bob. This is a lighted tower. There's 4 lights on the top of it. There's one there. There's one right there. And there's one back here somewhere. I can't see it on the maybe it's back further. There. I think that's one there. That's one there. There's 3 of them up there. I don't know where the third one is. Oh, it's in the back corner here. I think those wires hanging down are blocking that view there, Bob. Yeah, that's right. So I printed them a long time ago, and that was with their purpose. Now I need to make more for the lower yard. I'll light that one up eventually, and probably a couple more for up there to light that up more. They don't brighten up the spot. They're just there for aesthetics, I guess. But yeah, I forget where I found that file, but they were printed. I think that was on the Viper. I printed those parts, and if I print these on the Bamboo Labs A1 or even the Mini, they'll come out a lot nicer. So that's why I got to make some more and to lighten them up stuff. So I have some of the original tower lights, but they're not as tall as the ones I 3D printed. I like mine a little taller than the other ones. The other ones I used at the car dealership. Hey, Alfonso, how you doing? Welcome. So I put them at the car dealership when I was doing my other layout a long time ago. and they had little clips that connected to a little box that had clips on it, and you could plug it into there and you can run it over. And then the other end, you hooked up to your DC power supply, the accessories thing, and then they would come on when you turn the power supply on. Power supply. So I have them in a box, some in the closet in my office. I was going to use them, but I think I'm going to just 3D print more of them when I get around to doing some more 3D printing. But the cars are the priority now to get the auto racks filled up. That's what I've been doing and stuff like that. So, and today, let me make myself big again. Oops, camera. The thing is not on me. There we go. And today, my X-Acto knife was exposed, and I got tired of it, so I 3D printed a cover for it. It's a little big, but it'll serve its purpose. So, some things you need when you need them, you know. And then I got my electric bill today, and it was very high. I was very disappointed. It was $4.27 for my electric bill for the month. So I can't complain about that. So yeah, so I gotta wait for a couple of things to be shipped out. Then I can start getting some of these other things going. Tomorrow, a man has to print something, right? Tomorrow, I'm going to start putting the tanker cars on that train that has the auto racks on. I can put the first 15 cars on without needing another engine. So I'm going to start putting them on and letting them run around. I'm going to take the auto racks off the track for the time being until I can get them populated. I'll park them somewhere. Brass track, no, only on eBay, maybe, Alfonso. You can't buy it new because nobody sells it new anymore that I'm aware of. But you might be able to find it on eBay. Somebody might have it out there. Look for estate sales. Somebody who passed away may have had an old train set or may have had an old layout and he had brass track, something like that. Well, that surprises me, Bob, because many years ago, UPS, everything had to be signed for, no matter who it was delivered to, business or residential. They bring a package to you, you had to sign for it before they could go to the next. And that was a pain in the neck. Then they changed it to driver release. But I think business is require, they have to be signed for still. Now, when I delivered for FedEx, when I delivered to the businesses, they had a sign for the packages, even though they didn't have signature required. They did. That was just proof that they received the number of packages that they were supposed to get for that day. So, but we used to hate when we had a DSR. That means direct signature direct signature required, DSR. And that meant that you had to stop, ring the bell, wait for somebody to come, sign the device for you, pain in the neck. Well, nickel silver is the best track you can get. Well, that's strange, Bob. We hated to have to redeliver a package a second time because it was a signature required. Now, like, we had to have all those kind of packages by 10 o'clock in the morning. That was the requirement for FedEx at that time. And so I had to get to the businesses, and sometimes the businesses, they weren't open yet. So I'd have to go to the resident side of the town and deliver, and ring the bell, wait for them to come. They take their sweet ass time getting to the door and everything like that. And then they want to talk to you. I don't have time. Sign it, and I can get going to the next stop. And can't be rude or anything like that, but it's really tough to tell them, shut up. I want to get going. And it's like they never seen somebody for a long, long time, for God's sake. So then I had to run back to the businesses that weren't open yet to get their packages to them before 10 o'clock. It was a lot of running around for a couple of hours. Then in the afternoon, it was a little less hectic because you had a lot more time to get the later packages delivered. And most of them weren't signature required packages. So, but you always get somebody in another route. Hey, can you help me with this? And you had to help them. And, you have your own route and everything like that. But that was a fun job. I like doing that. That was good. That's what happened. So, and UPS, like I said, UPS requires signature on every package that they delivered. Now I think they still require businesses to sign. So, Bob, you're like a business. You have a business address or something, and they feel that you have to have a signature and be there. You're not going to just leave a package there. So it might be their policy. You might want to check with them to find out what their policy is on business. Now, see, FedEx had a loophole. You can get a signature release tag, and it was a barcode, and you would stick it inside your door, and then the FedEx driver come and had signature required, and they knew you had that release on the door. They could scan that, and then the signature was released, and then the package can be just left in the door. That's, people had that. I had that on my apartment because I was having things delivered to me, like computer parts and stuff like that, when I was doing computer stuff. And I always had computer parts and stuff. I'm not home during the day because I'm working. So, and the signature required, that means it has to go back and come back again the next day, and then see, they're not going to be there. So, got the signature release tag, and I stuck that up there. I don't know if they still offer that or something, but um, 22 radius is the minimum size for aggregated well cars. If they're like 40 footers, if they hold a 40-foot container, they're the smallest ones. And if they're aggregated, 22 radius is the minimum. Now, if they're individual cars, you can get them to go around an 18-inch radius, because I have them on my layout. I got 18-inch radius down here, and it goes around on an 18-inch radius, but those are individual cars. They all have their own wheels and their own couplers on them. They're not aggregated. I have the aggregated up on the inside loop up here. They run around that, but that's 22 and 24 up there. I can't show you now. Maybe next week I'll have one ready to show you. All the ones that I 3D printed are individual cars. So I can't get up there now to take it down. I'll take one down next week and I'll show it to you. Are the chickens okay? I didn't hear very many of them. Yeah, they're doing fine, Dwight. If you can't hear them, then it's probably your speaker on your phone, because they're pretty loud. Everybody else can hear. A single unit well car. Well, I can 3D print one for you, maybe. I like my old brass track. It works for me. Yeah. Dave, have you seen any brass track at any of the train shows that we've been at? I haven't. I only see like the newer kind of track. Yeah, that's and welcome, Dave. I didn't. You just must have popped in, or I didn't see you come in. And I said hello to Dwight. Oh, he's been lurking. Okay, that's okay. I lurk every once in a while too. Like I'll be watching the stream, and I can hear it because I watch the streams from inside my office. I like my chair in there; it's a lot more comfortable than out here in the train room. So that office chair was like an $1,800 chair I got for free, because they were getting rid of them and they got new ones. So, oh, really? Timonium had a bunch at White Elephant Table last year. Oh, okay. Yeah, see, so Alfonso, maybe a train show out by your way. If you get to go to a train show, they might have brass track there. People try to get rid of all the old stuff as they can. So, welcome, Ken Amos. Good to see you in here. And Quasimodo, welcome. How are you tonight? Thanks for stopping in. Just caught up. Excellent. So it's been a busy week so far, and a lot of things hinge on a lot of other things. So I can run some trains, but yeah, that's great. And it all hinges on a lot of other things. So I got to take it one step at a time. like I say, I don't like. I didn't want to run the signals with some of them being faulty, so I turned them off altogether. That way they won't come on, stuff like that. So today I went around and on this paper I marked every signal I have on it. And then I wrote down NP, no power, flashing, cycling. I put a little note next to them all. And I added them all up. There's 256 of them on the layout. So that's quite a few. Oh, your Atom logo with the 9-pin. Soundtracks makes an adapter for 21 to 9-pin. Ah, okay. Well, that's okay, Quasi. I just ordered. I just put it. I like decoder buddies. They're not expensive, and they work well, and it's easy to solder the lights on to that little board, daughter board. Hey, Ronald Renew, welcome. And then put that board right on top of the decoder buddy. It makes it so much easier to convert an engine over. So if you're doing it, I recommend a decoder buddy. Like it was simple. I just transitioned. I just took the one wire off, soldered it on the decoder, boom, 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 and then I had power. And if it wasn't for a bad decoder, I would have done that. But see, this is what makes me upset was when I saw Quick Connect DCC ready. That's not true. That's not true because what Quasi said was, hey, you can buy an adapter and then put a 9-pin in it. Well, that means you have to go out and get something else to adapt to what's in there. That's not a quick plug. That was false advertisement by Atherin, and I'm very disappointed in that. But I really like the engine. I like the color scheme, the Rio Grande, that black and orange, and the front. The front blade or whatever you call it, I don't know what that's called. That popped off. I'm gonna glue that on. I don't know why they just pressure them on. It came off. I just turned it over and it popped off. So no big deal. Just another little detail you have to fix. Not quick, and more expensive. Yes, of course. Right. I got the engine at a good price. It was a quick connect, but I mean, I've had other engines that I bought that were DCC ready, and they came with like a board on it that had a 21-pin connector. That's DCC ready to me, where you could just take a 21-pin decoder, plug it in, and you're in operation. That's DCC ready. Not buying an adapter, which is okay, and then buying a 9-pin decoder. Yeah. So I'll get the decoder buddy. They're easy to work with, and they just work, and they work well with many different decoders, and it has a spot for soldering on a circuit, a keep alive and stuff like that. Yeah, I'll look at it. I'll look at it when I get a chance, Quasi. I'll take a look at it. Yeah, I know they're not expensive, but that's just an adapter. See, that's why it's not expensive. Yeah, there you go, Bob. Yeah, well, um, like I was working on the helix, gluing down all the track. So I didn't get a chance to run the trains like I wanted to do, right? Um, I got that all done, and it took a while. Like in my video I put out, starting out showing how I do the gluing down the track on the helix, and I said in there I wish I had more 1, 2, 3 blocks. Well, then that after that video, I said I'm going to just go on Amazon and order some more 1, 2, 3 blocks. So now I had a lot of them, and I could do like halfway around a loop and have that section all glued down. Before I was only getting like 3 sections of track done on inside and out, and that's with a couple canned goods holding the track in place too. So, once I got the other 1, 2, 3 blocks, now I could go halfway around and start moving faster. I got around, and then I got to the last 2 levels, and over in this corner, right up there, you see that orange light up there? That's that substation lit up right there. Well, right up in there, there's there's a hook up there, and that's where I hook up my drop light. And then, so I put the drop light up there, and it was shining on top of the helix so I could see at nighttime, which was great because it was a brighter light. These lights here are dimmer at nighttime, not as bright. So that helped me, and so I could finish it up. And I just had a little track work to do. I had to put some filler in a couple spots to level off the track a little bit, and I got that all done. And now it's all glued down and works pretty good. Painting track, Bob. Yeah, that's a fun project. Sometimes I'll have that. Have you tried 1, 2, 3 blocks? Nice and heavy. Yes, I have. I've had 1, 2, 3 blocks for a long time, but I didn't have enough to do what I wanted to do. Fiber ties. His fiber is good. Well, I would think the fiber ties are insulators. I forget. No, when I had brass track, I had the metal joiners to join them. So, yeah, fiber ties don't like water, right? Not lately, Dwight. No printing this week yet. How about you, Dwight? No, mine have their holes in them, Quasi. They have 3 rows of 3 holes going through on the sides, in and out. They're not solid blocks. They have holes in them, Quasi. Yeah, see? Yeah, there's always something else to do. So, like I say, tomorrow I'll start running that train again up there with a couple of tank cars, and I want to fill that train out. But the 2 engines for the DPU part of that train are in flux right now, so I have to wait until shipments come in to fix them. So, Yeah, it does, Alfonso. It will. Now, they used to have insulator joiners that were white, and those things got brittle too. They were, I don't know what they were made out of, but now they make them out of a clear plastic, and they seem to be holding up better. And then there was some yellow insulated rail joiners that were insulated, and they also would crack and break over time. Yeah, Bob. Female warrior. Yeah. Well, when I first got when I all I saw on YouTube, people were using 1, 2, 3 blocks. They were all ones with holes in them. I never saw a solid one. And so I have six. I don't know. I think I have 12 of them now altogether. So it'll help if I ever have to do something to weigh things down. I have seen yellow joiners that have 25 years. Yeah. Oh yeah. I have some that I had a long time ago. Um, and when I was doing this layout, I needed insulator joiners for the turnout and stuff. So when I used those, it some of them just broke right away, so I didn't use them. But the other ones, they're connected and they're still there. You know, the track isn't supposed to move, and mine don't move. So yeah, see, they'll yeah, it'll break apart. Things don't last forever. Wear steel caps if you use them, though. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, so they're not as big as a 1, 2, 3. Well, I like my 1, 2, 3 blocks, um, and I use them when I was gluing down the signals to the layout. The holes, I put that on top of the signal, and it wouldn't go all the way through, but it would just be enough to hold the signal in place. And then the weight of it, would hold the signal down so it wouldn't move while it was being glued in place. So I used the 1, 2, 3 box for another reason, other things. And with the holes, if I didn't have the holes, it would have slid right off. I used to use pliers. I have electrical pliers that have insulated handles, and I would open them up a little bit and then squeeze that down and put it on a signal to keep the signal in place. So, yeah, solid would be a lot heavier, but nah, they're heavy enough for what I need to do. Like they held the track down, track didn't pop up. I used that um, tacky glue, and that worked really well. And it dries clear, it goes on white, and it dries clear, and you don't see it anymore. Like I said, I wiped up the spots because I didn't want glue puddles all over the place. It would have looked like water there, but I don't have seams on the helix. Then I was thinking maybe I should ballast the track. I said, nah, I'm not ballasting the helix track. Just leaving it there as it is. That's the service tracks getting from one place to the other. Maybe one day I might put lights inside there to light it up so you can see better. I don't know. The other things that I can do later that not as important. So, like you can't see. You could see the outside train running on the track, but you won't be able to see the inside train. Now, on the camera, I might be able to zoom in to where you can see it, but that'd be the only thing. So that's why I have the camera car when I'm running a train up and down the helix. So when I do the track cleaning train, that'll be cleaning the helix tracks. Then I will put a camera car on there just to see how it's making its progress down the helix or even up the helix. So I think I'm going to put 2 engines to pull that track cleaning car up the helix. So, like I say, after I cleaned it, I just found a couple of spots where I had some of the glue dropped on the rail and I missed it, because usually I saw it right away and then I would wipe it off and everything. There were a couple of spots I missed, and I just cleaned them off with a Bright Boy, and then the train ran through with no problem. So, well, I think I'm going to call it an evening, gentlemen. Been on here for an hour and a half now. Atlas sold those yellow track insulators in small plastic snap box. Yes, I remember that, Quasi. That was a long time. Yeah, 50 years ago. Yep, that's about right. And I had them for that long. So, yeah, they were Atlas. Atlas made them. So, 1412. 2 people didn't hit the like button. Oh, well. Yeah, everybody have a good night. I appreciate everybody coming in and spending some time with me tonight. And don't forget to watch Jim Tedesco tomorrow. And he comes on at 6 p.m. And his Skylink has been working good for him, so no outages for a while. And everybody have a great rest of the week. And we'll catch you all on the next stream or on your stream sometime. Everybody, take care. Good night. Good night, Ken. Thanks a lot. Ronald, take care. JD, thanks for stopping in. Good night. John, good night. Dwight, good night. Yeah, Atlas is a professional brand. You can go to the Atlas website and you can find out all about Atlas, Alfonso. They're in New Jersey. Their home base is where I live. Okay, guys. Good night.